4, 100, 200. Now, these aren't random numbers. These are the exact counts of 3D printed parts that NASA flew on 3 Orion spacecraft, the program that's taking humans back to the moon. 4 parts on the Exploration Flight Test 1 back in 2014. Over 100 parts on the Artemis I, the unmanned mission to the moon in 2022. And about 200 parts, the flight that just carried 4 humans around the moon and came back into the Pacific Ocean just off the coast of San Diego about a month ago. Now that's not marketing. We talk about space grade parts all the time here at Vision Miner because we print them all the time here at Vision Miner. But this isn't us talking. This is NASA's own count per Lockheed Martin, the prime contractor on the Orion project. And that progression, 4 and then 100 and then 200, is the single clearest public signal anywhere in the world that NASA's trust in 3D printing flight hardware isn't just growing, it's accelerating massively. Here's the thing. It's not that 3D printing got cheaper, although it has. It's way more affordable than it ever used to be. It's that the qualification evidence got deeper. Every part on the Artemis had to earn its way into the project. And the more parts that NASA qualified, then the more they're willing to put on the next mission because they trust the process that made it. So let's walk through what was actually on each of those spacecraft. December 2014, EFT-1, Orion's first unmanned flight test. 4 parts in that capsule were 3D printed. All 4 of them were Inconel 718 vent assemblies. So this is metal AM, right? And obviously over the last 10 years, we've seen a huge uprising in metal additive manufacturing, just in general. Now these specific parts were made using laser powder bed fusion. Lasers inside of a hot chamber with inert gas, fusing layers of Inconel powder together. And then, of course, you have to post-process the crap out of them, stress relief, isostatic pressing, treating them in a solution, and then even aging the parts. Now that's a whole separate part of the process. But that whole chain is governed by ASTM F3055, the standard specification for additively manufacturing Inconel 718. The microstructure gets checked, the porosity gets examined, they look for any unwanted artifacts that could form during the build and weaken the part. The parts made it through. Even the post-flight inspection showed no defects. That's 4 parts, 1 material, 1 process, fully documented. And that was the proof of concept. Now, jump forward to November of 2022, the Artemis I. Another unmanned mission, but the Orion went all the way to the moon and back. They designed it just like a manned flight, just no monkeys this time. NASA flew over 100 3D printed parts on that capsule. And this is where the polymer side of the story really starts. And this is exactly what we do here at Vision Miner, aerospace grade polymers. From brackets to cable guides to ducting to electrical housing, even the crew seats, all of it was 3D printed by Lockheed Martin and their partner PADT on production class FDM machines, the Stratasys 450MC and F900 systems, running mostly Ultem 9085 and Antero 800. Although officially or unofficially, we may or may not have had some involvement in some of this. That's all we'll say for now. Now, a quick detail on those materials because they matter a lot, and we've got videos on each of them on our YouTube channel. Ultem 9085 is a polyethyramide blend, PEI. It's high strength, high heat, inherently flame retardant. It meets the FST ratings that the FAA requires for flame, smoke, and toxicity. And if you walk into any commercial airliner, most of the plastic in there, in the cabin, is Ultem. Antero is Stratasys branded PEKK, P-E-K-K. A lot of you already know PEEK, but Antero is its high-performance cousin in the same PAEK family, the polyaryl ether ketones. And one specific variant, Antero 840CN03, is filled with carbon nanotubes, 3% by weight, which makes it ESD safe, or electrostatic dissipative. Now in deep space, electrostatic charge builds up on the surface of a spacecraft. If you discharge it through your electronics, then you're going to short out everything and damage the mission. But carbon nanotubes solve that problem by being part of the polymer itself. The functionality is built into the material. There's no nickel plating, there's no secondary coatings. Now going from 4 parts to over 100 wasn't just more 3D printing, it was actually NASA telling the industry, this is how we scale, and we're gonna prove it. All right, moving forward to April 2026, last month, Artemis II. 4 humans flying farther from the Earth than any crewed spacecraft has ever flown. 252,000 miles out. About 200 3D printed parts on that capsule. The most prominent one, the showpiece, is the external docking hatch cover and ring. A 6-piece assembly, roughly a meter across, sitting on the outside of the crew module, printed in Antero 840CN03. The PEKK with carbon nanotubes. So a meter-wide ESD managing hatch cover bolted to the outside of a spacecraft carrying humans to the moon? That part is FDM, the same fundamental process that drives every desktop printer in every garage across America, just done at an industrial scale with the right materials and with the qualification work behind it. Now, a lot of people still have it in their mind from 10 years ago that 3D printing is for trinkets and it's not strong stuff, especially a lot of guys in the automotive and machining industry. We've really noticed that, but NASA clearly trusts this, so what's different? In aerospace, the process gets qualified first and the part gets qualified second. Now there's a stack of standards behind that. You've got MSFC STD 3716 from Marshall, published in 2017. The NASA standard 6030 and 6033 at the agency level, both in 2021. ASTM F3055 for Inconel and ASTM E595, the outgassing standard that screens every single polymer that goes anywhere near a spacecraft. And every flight part also carries a digital thread, a documented pedigree. Which machine, which operator, which feedstock lot, traceable all the way back to the raw pellets that got extruded into the filament that fed the printer. Now this is a big part of what we deal with here every day at Vision Miner, the COAs and COCs, certificates of analysis and certificates of conformance for every spool of filament that we sell. Aerospace customers ask for that traceability constantly, and we provide it, because you can't qualify a process without qualifying the material that fed it. So when an auditor asks, why they should trust a printed part on a vehicle that's carrying humans into the void of space, the answer isn't, oh, it won't be tested fine. The answer is a 300-page dossier. And that's how trust gets built. And that's why the number went from 4 to 200. Here's where it gets interesting for everybody else. Most of us don't work at NASA, but this is where the story applies to you. The polymer family that flies on the Orion, the Ultem, the PEKK, the PEI, it's the same polymer family that our 22 IDEX was built around. The whole company here at Vision Miner was founded on 3D printing these exact materials. The 22 IDEX has all the specs needed to print this material class. Up to a certain size, yes, there's limitations, but whether you're making a bracket for a race car or an off-road vehicle or a custom aircraft or helicopter, medical, oil and gas, defense, you name it, we print this stuff every single day. This thing is built like a tank, it's a welded steel frame, it's a fully open material system, unlocked performance for high-value parts. No licenses, no required service plans if you know what you're doing, although you might want the top-tier support, which we do offer. And if anything ever does come up with the machine, you've got wiki.visionminer.com. It's all there for you. Space grade isn't a stamp that NASA puts on a machine. Space grade is a material class that's existed in industry for over 40 years. And you can run those exact materials at your business or even in your garage. And you've got literal space grade material coming off your build plate. Here at Vision Miner, we help engineering teams figure out which materials and which processes actually fit their application, whether it's aerospace, medical, oil and gas, energy, solar, defense, automotive. Now, you got high temp, you got low temp, you got super strong. We've literally got it all. So head over to visionminer.com and check out our machines and materials and give us a call or shoot us an email. You'll talk to somebody real here in America. This is what we do every single day. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a positive rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one.